I'm Sydney Wagner. I'm from Livermore, California, and my major is Operations Research and Computer Analysis, and we call it ORCA.
If you like puzzles, if you like kind of thinking outside of the box and trying to solve like unique problems or phrase them a different way, then that's the major for you.
ORCA is the math major at the Coast Guard Academy, but it really goes beyond that.
The ORCA major is all about using math to solve complex problems.
I like computer science, I like math, I kind of like projects and thinking about those types of problems. Once I figured that out, that's when I knew that I thought ORCA was for me.
Math isn't always the easiest subject, as I'm sure a lot of people know, but this faculty is fantastic and they make themselves available, so your biggest challenge almost turns into your biggest triumph, because once you finally get a concept down or you figure out how to do a problem or how to do a process, you just feel that accomplishment, that sense of pride in what you've done and the work that you've put in.
We actually get to do a project that is relevant to what is going on in the fleet right now, and depending on the outcome of that project could even be applied to solving that problem in the fleet.
OR majors are really involved in real business cases from the Coast Guard. So we're sought out by operational commanders to do projects, to basically take the bigger data, the bigger decisions that require analysis, and give them the tools to make best decisions.
And so I think it's really neat to be like, all right, I'm actually solving this problem because someone has this problem for real and they need help with it.
Overall, it's definitely the analytical thought process that we're aiming for. We want you to leave here being able to at least understand how to frame a problem, understand what tools you have in your bag to solve it, know how to ask the appropriate questions to get the information you need in order to attack that problem, and just to be generally aware of where you can apply what we've taught here to other issues that you may see in the fleet.
You get this, people out in the fleet and they're saying, we have this problem and we're not sure how to fix it. Can you help us with it? So not only do you have to solve the problem, because that's one side of it, and that's a fun side, it's like a puzzle that you get to put together, but you also have to figure out how to explain to them, hey, this is why this is going to work, this is why you should do this.
Whether you're an engineer or a management major, a government major, an OR or an MES, we're still driving that same goal through the core requirements to give you a strong foundation and develop those traits that we want in the future leaders of the Coast Guard.
The best thing about being an instructor here, honestly, is over time watching cadets grow from being freshmen with limited knowledge about college life or the military, both even, to becoming seniors with career aspirations and a real professional demeanor about them.
I've had nothing but a good time since I've been in it, learned a lot of skills that I used to think I would never know, things that were far beyond my mental capacities, but like I said before, the faculty makes this major great. They allow students to grow and develop. It's a struggle sometimes, but banding together with your friends, your shipmates, you get through it together and you come out a better cadet on the other side, and hopefully a better officer as well.
One of the first things I did as an electrical engineering student when I graduated from college was I designed an EKG monitor. A year later I was in the hospital and I looked up and I saw, sure enough, on the operating table there was my monitor being used. And I told the surgeon, I designed that monitor, I can fix it if it breaks down. And he just said, shut up, I'm going to put you out. So that was something that I got to see that I designed myself.
When I think about electrical engineering, I think about everything that's happening in the world today. So technology is advancing at rates that we've never seen before, and the things that you can do with computers and technology nowadays, you could never do before. And when I think of that, I think of electrical engineering.
I'm dual tracking for electrical engineering, and so you get the cyber side, you get the network security, you get some of the software side, and I also have the systems such as communication systems. So cyber is a very important part of the Coast Guard. It's coming out of the Coast Guard's one of his main directives.
So cyber is really being ingrained across all majors here at the Coast Guard Academy, but most particularly in electrical engineering. We're not really new to cyber. When I was a cadet, I participated in the cyber defense exercise sponsored by the NSA in 2006. But now is really an exciting time to get involved with cyber at the Coast Guard Academy. The Commandant's cyber strategy that was just released calls for having a cyber-aware Coast Guard workforce. And for many of the officers in the Coast Guard, that will start right here at the Coast Guard Academy when you're a cadet.
My follow-on job after grad school was supporting the mobile contingency communication systems, and those are used in response action. So for surge operations, natural disasters, anytime that a sector goes down and they need to restore it, but the building, for whatever reason, they can't get power to the building or something like that, these vehicles deploy with operators who can set up and have internet, Coast Guard internet, and dirty internet. They can have all of the communications capabilities that a sector would, the radio communications.
To use technology to do anything, whether it's applications on your phone, whether it's video messaging, everything like that has to be programmed by an electrical engineer. And I think the idea that I can be in that small group of people who know how to make the world a better place using technology, I think that for me is the biggest change that I want to see. And I know as an electrical engineer I can help make that happen.
Here at the Academy, I get to teach cadets of all majors and all classes, and I really enjoy the curiosity that they bring to the classroom and the interest that they have in exploring the governmental institutions. My name is Lieutenant Lyndon Dahlkamper, and I'm instructor of American Government and Public Policy here at the Academy.
I chose to come to the Coast Guard Academy because I wanted to serve my country, and I thought that the best way to be able to know how to do that was also to know how my country and how my government actually worked.
The government major here at the Academy consists of 3 tracks. They are Public Policy and Law, International Affairs, and Security Studies.
In that we do a lot with just knowing the policies of the Coast Guard. Obviously we have to learn about history, we have to learn about policies within other countries.
There's a common theme throughout all the government courses where they want you to learn how to be able to lead, speak, write, and perform ethically and virtuously in everything that you do.
As an instructor here at the Academy, we really hope our cadets leave here with the ability to think critically, not only about the institutions in which they operate, but how different actors operate within those institutions. And as an officer of the government, as an officer in the Coast Guard, it's really important that they understand where these policies come from that they're going to be enforcing out on the ocean.
The goal of the government major, in my opinion, is really to just create these well-rounded officers.
Whether you're on the ship or you're working in DC, to have a solid understanding and a grasp on the foundation of what allows our service to do what it does, to understand those processes makes you a really successful officer.
We have many exciting opportunities for our cadets here at the Academy.
We get to interact with the government in a way that people who are choosing to go to other colleges will never have. We have congressmen and senators, generals and admirals coming here to talk to us. We get the opportunity to go down to Washington and really get right down in the grind of what we're learning about.
And this year we sent cadets over to Europe to interview officials at the International Maritime Organization. We've sent cadets to West Africa to work on projects, and most recently up to Point Barrow, Alaska, working on a project concerning increasing shipping traffic up in the Arctic.
The goal of the Olympus Fellowship is to bring in visiting speakers who can discuss the humanitarian aspects of global issues.
We have faculty who are, whether they're military or they're civilian, they're experts in their field.
If being a government major is something that you're really interested in doing, you should definitely go for it. I've had a really positive experience.
If you want to serve your country, you should have an understanding of why you're doing that. You should have an understanding of the laws and the customs that you're protecting. And I think the best way to do that is to get an education in government.
I heard about the Coast Guard Academy when I was in 10th grade from my father, who was also my football coach. He let me know, hey, you want to play college football, you want to get a great education, looking to be in the military, it's a good way to go, it's the Coast Guard Academy.
I would explain civil engineering as the design, construction, and maintenance of all, not only physical buildings, they're man-made structures, but also natural structures.
Science, technology, engineering, math, STEM. This is a STEM-focused school. So there's 6 majors that you can choose from if you're interested in STEM. Civil's one of them.
Civil engineering is basically designing and maintaining infrastructure such as bridges, buildings, sewage and water treatment systems in a cost-effective and environmentally friendly manner.
I really like working with the faculty because they really encourage you to get your hands dirty. They bring us on so many different field trips.
The faculty, they're great because they're just always available for help. We get a lot of FaceTime with the teachers and they're always just very willing to help us.
For me personally, the interaction with the cadets is what, to watch a student struggle and to watch that light bulb go on like, oh, I get it.
I definitely really like how we all have most of our classes together, so all of my classmates and I are all really close. We all do our homework together, we all study together. So there's definitely a sense of community.
What I personally enjoy about the major is definitely the people. Like I touched on earlier, the faculty, but also just my friends that are in the major. We do a lot of group work, a lot of group projects, a lot of work in the lab with other people. So it lets you learn to work in a team better.
I really like building things and working with my hands, and I love being able to mix concrete or actually running tests on water and pollution in water in the lab, and really not just feeling like you're learning the theory, really feeling like it's applicable, because I think it's a really good base if you want to do some sort of engineering field. I feel like civil engineering, you can take and go in a lot of different directions with it.
We expose them to what civil engineers do in the Coast Guard. We also expose them to civil engineers in the Coast Guard, to the actual people. And I think that energizes them, and I think that makes them want to choose civil engineering. And we have a number of them that get out at 5 years and do civil engineering outside of the Coast Guard as well.
Listen to custodians.
In the Marine Science major, cadets all take the same courses originally. They take a basic background in marine meteorology, physical oceanography, marine geochemistry, and marine biology. After they get the fundamentals in each of those 4 areas, they're able to specialize. They choose 2 out of the 3 tracks of the Marine Science major, which are physical oceanography, chemical oceanography, and biological oceanography. In physical oceanography, it's where you learn about the physical processes that govern the ocean. You learn more about marine meteorology, ocean dynamics, wave physics, estuary dynamics, currents, things of that nature. And chemical oceanography is where you learn about things like toxicology. You learn all the basics like organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, physical chemistry. And you also learn how those things apply to Coast Guard missions, such as marine pollution, oil spill response, and hazardous materials. Finally, biological oceanography is where you learn the basics of marine biology, biochemical oceanography, and fisheries management, fisheries science. This directly applies to the Coast Guard's missions of living marine resource management and environmental protection.
I had no previous experience with marine and environmental science. So actually in high school, I was in honors and AP classes in all subjects except for science. And then I came to the academy, and that freshman year you take a lot of science courses and a lot of technical courses, and that's where I really fell in love with the idea of this marine science major.
So I chose marine and environmental science because I'm a biology nerd. I think that all of the classes in the major are really well suited to my interests. I really like to go outside. I like going on field trips. I like the hands-on learning experience that we get in pretty much every class. And as a freshman, it really appealed to me, and for those reasons.
So the fun part of the major is how interesting and exciting our teachers really try to make the major. We have a research vessel that we'll take out on the Thames River to do basic water quality things and collecting samples. We do take field trips, and we'll go to the beach, we'll go to the aquarium, and we really have fun in our major. It's definitely not confined to the classroom, and they try to make it as creative as possible.
When I graduated from the academy, I was stationed aboard the Polar Sea as the science officer, so I was able to participate in research missions in the Arctic firsthand and apply the knowledge I got in the marine science major immediately. While this is a fairly unique track, I would say most junior officers who graduate from the marine science major get to use what they learn almost immediately. At further points in my career, I was the task force leader for almost half the Coast Guard assets on scene during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And knowledge of the physical oceanography, where oil is going to go, what happens to it when it gets in the water, what are some of the risks associated with it, and what are the things that oil can do to the marine ecosystem, to the organisms in the water, were all valuable in aiding me as a task force leader during that response. Additionally, search and rescue missions in the Coast Guard. Every Coast Guard cutter does search and rescue. Every graduate of the Academy is going to participate in some manner or another in search and rescue. And the way the Coast Guard does search and rescue is absolutely dependent on our knowledge of marine science. Physical oceanography tells us where the currents are going to transport a person or a ship in the water when they do come under distress. So it's all linked together, and I would say I've used marine science in almost every aspect of my Coast Guard career so far.
I actually wanted to build ships since I was 4. That's what I started telling my parents when I was about 4, that when I grew up I wanted to build ships.
Naval architecture is, it focuses on the design of ships, it focuses on the maritime industry, kind of the process, the design phases that we go through.
I would describe it as an integration of really mechanical engineering, civil engineering, even electrical engineering, all into one system.
In the most basic sense, naval architecture is knowledge required to build boats. The marine engineering piece is the fact that you're essentially designing a floating city. And depending on how big your ship is, it depends how complicated that design is.
The amount of work that goes into ship design, there's a lot of aspects. I mean, you take into account an economics view, you take into account policy when you're looking through regulations.
Ship design is very dynamic and integrated. We're building a boat from the bottom up, and this includes designing the hull in computer programs and all the way up to putting into the model testing tanks.
You're given the basic level requirements for a design, and it's up to you to create the whole design, go through the seakeeping analysis.
The real point is designing a ship from given a list of requirements, to building a model, testing it in our tow tank, understanding what its performance is and how that compares to what you predicted it to be, and then presenting those designs to the Coast Guard community.
My knowledge of ships and my knowledge of marine engineering when I leave the academy is going to help me to understand the systems on board the Coast Guard ship.
The Coast Guard's main assets are boats, so it behooves the Coast Guard for their people to know, what boats are capable of, how boats function, their stability. It's just being so familiar with our key assets is extremely important.
Really what we want to produce is highly technical students that have a desire to continue to learn and have high critical thinking skills.
You just have to generally go with what you have a passion for. I mean, I found this is what I had a passion for.
What I find most rewarding about the major is just the end of the day sense of satisfaction that I'm gaining skills that are going to make me a better officer. They're going to help me in the career path that I desire.
Once I started getting into my technical classes, I really enjoy it, and if you really enjoy something, you really don't have to, you don't really work a lot. You have fun.
So the management department at the United States Coast Guard Academy, our primary focus is to prepare officers for the fleet. What does that mean going out into the fleet with a essentially business degree? You're taking courses in finance, you're taking courses in accounting, human resource management, organizational behavior and leadership, a full spectrum of the same type of courses you would take at any other undergraduate school in business.
The funnest part for me, hands down, was the internship that I was able to do my first class summer. I was at the Coast Guard headquarters in Washington, D.C., and it was a fantastic opportunity for me to see a different side of the Coast Guard, not just the cutter lifestyle. I got to work with a lot of great officers that really helped me, I think, develop myself as a first class cadet.
We're one of the few institutions that actually have a live simulation for the bridge of a ship. How that relates to the management department and the world I work in is that we're able to utilize this laboratory for our students. So in organizational behavior and leadership, I bring my cadets into this laboratory of leadership, as I like to call it, when we come in here and analyze bridge decisions, how you're actually making those decisions in the fleet. We've been able to integrate, what's very specific to the Coast Guard, ship driving, into what we're doing up in the management department within various classrooms and activities.
We've consistently ranked in the top tier of undergrad business programs. We are accredited by AACSB, which is the accrediting body for business programs across the nation and even internationally.
Our classes are anywhere from 10 to 25 people depending on what class you're taking. If it's a more generic management class that everyone has to take, in your second class or first class year, for example, the class will probably be about 25. But specific classes that I'm in right now, I have 10 other cadets with me, which makes it very personal. If you have any questions, it's very easy to get instructor help. Not to mention, they're always available to you, pretty much, some form of communication. So they're always willing to meet with you one-on-one if you're struggling. If you go in with other cadets, they can meet in small groups. They're really flexible when it comes to that.
I came to the Coast Guard Academy knowing I wanted to do management. Really, my interest was the finance side of the degree itself, and also just from a higher perspective, learning how to lead and manage people and what goes into that. I felt the management major was really the place to be for those sort of things.
If you're interested in going mechanical engineering, it's probably because you like to tinker. You like to play with things, you like to break things, you like to find out what's going on inside and what makes it really work. And so mechanical engineering in the Coast Guard really taps into that desire that people have to really find out what's going on.
The fun part is building something from little scraps of metal, being in the power lab, like using the tools, and being able to see that what my mechanical engineering has designed has created this cool new thing, like a cool new product, a boat, a camera, anything. Like you can make anything in the mechanical engineering major, and that's really cool to me.
Mechanical engineering is a jack of all trades. It's designed for those people who like to deal and meddle with things that will move, will rotate, will have some kind of drive to it, will have some kind of engine to it. And so what we'll do is we'll teach them from the base ground up all the things that engineering requires. So the idea of forces, the idea of a design, starting with a customer and going all the way up to the end user, the product that we're looking for. And then we're going to teach them about what's happening inside of material, inside of metals, inside of aluminums, inside of steels. We'll teach them about thermodynamics and thermal systems design. We'll teach them about everything that goes into a system that's going to be moving. And then in their senior year, we're going to work on a capstone project. And the capstone projects for us range the gamut from creating water, fresh water out of salt water, to Coast Guard related problems.
To take the materials that we had available in the lab and just put things together, see what was going to work, see what wasn't. And we went through the design process beforehand, before we actually started building, to understand what that was all about, and then we actually got to go and build it and see what worked and didn't. And that was probably one of my favorite parts of mechanical engineering as a whole, was actually getting my hands dirty, getting in the lab, and working with my hands, and I loved it.
What you gain from being a mechanical engineer is so important, because you learn not just how to solve a 4-bar linkage, you actually learn how to become patient and how to become innovative.
Coast Guard is service. We're a life-saving service. We're going out there, we're doing search and rescue, homeland security, law enforcement, all the important things that we come to the Coast Guard in. Everything that we deal with, whether it be a boat or a cutter or a helicopter or a plane, it's all a system of systems. It has motors in it, has generators in it, has turbines in it. Every single piece there requires some knowledge, some understanding. And the more that you understand that, the better off you're going to be at executing the mission. And so if our graduates go out there with an understanding of mechanical engineering, then they're more capable of processing our missions.